When you think of BMW, words like luxury, sport, and expensive come to mind. Back in 2020, they debuted a more affordable model, which dialed back some of the expected refinement and performance. Now, for 2025, it gets a fully redesigned second generation. And here it is, the 2025 BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe. Before we get into this full review, do us a favor, hit those like and subscribe buttons below to get all of our latest content. This all-new second-gen Gran Coupe is the least expensive model in BMW's lineup, and just like its predecessor, it accomplishes that feat by starting with a front-wheel drive Mini Cooper platform. It's available in either the base 228 model or this more powerful M235 version. Now notice that there's no more lowercase I after those model numbers, so it's just 228 or M235. Now they've been spared the oddly oversized grills from other models, and there are different grills between the 228 and M235. Like the last generation, this one has sort of a heavier visual mass than your typical BMW. And that's really prevalent in this area here above the wheel wells, where it's just a little thicker, kind of making it look like an overfed corgi from some angles. It looks more like a traditional BMW from the back, but the purist in me is a little bit irked that they went with quad tailpipes because that's a feature that's reserved usually for legitimate M cars. All of these Gran Coupes come with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. The 228, that's rated at 241 horsepower, which is 13 more horsepower than the first gen. The M235, well, that increases output to 312 horsepower. That's 10 more than the previous generation. All of them are paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. The M235 is further enhanced with upgraded brakes, a rear spoiler, unique interior trim, sport seats, and a sport steering wheel. And this particular M235 also gets the M Performance package, which upgrades to 19-inch wheels, a sport suspension, M brakes, M Sport seats, and a higher top speed. Now, BMW puts a little bit of emphasis on sporty driving with this 2 Series Gran Coupe, and for the most part, I think they succeeded, especially when you consider this came from a Mini Cooper, which is already fairly sporty. They estimate this M235 will reach 60 miles an hour in about 4.5 seconds. For the base 228, it should get there in about 6 seconds. Now, acceleration is very strong and very confidence-inspiring. Really don't need to floor when you're getting on a highway, and it's got plenty of juice to get a smile on your face when you're on a curvy road like this. Now, handling, it does feel just a little bit nose-heavy from behind the wheel, but not so bad and not nearly as much as you'd expect from a Mini Cooper. These do have adaptive dampers, but even in its softest setting, which we're in right now, it is maybe a little too firm for most people, but this also does have the M Performance package that stiffens things up even further. Now, if we go to the sport mode, well, then that's gonna really firm things up and almost get to the point where it's a little harsh. But if you're on a smooth, curvy road or on a racetrack, probably perfect. Steering effort is a little too light for my taste for a sporty car, but it's very precise and just easy to place wherever you want the car on the road. The brakes are also a little bit soft, but also really good to modulate, so you can just trail it all the way down to an apex with precision. Now, these do have dual clutch automatic transmissions, which kind of raise some alarm bells in my head because they tend to be a little herky-jerky in low-speed situations like in parking lots, but I actually haven't run into too many issues like that with this particular car. So good on you, BMW. Now, as you can see, I'm being bounced around quite a bit, so I'm going to just take it back out of sport mode and smooth things out a little bit. And those roads back there aren't particularly rough. It's the roads that we pretty much shoot all of our reviews on, so that's a really good indication of ride quality. Elsewhere, related to comfort, the road noise does find its way into the cabin, and there is sort of that ever-present hum and kind of white noise that you get. And on a coarser surface like we're on right now, it's a little too prevalent. But at least on the highways, you won't get any wind noise. Visibility is pretty much excellent, and that's expected from a small little sedan like this. There's really no guesswork, and there's a good view out the back as well. Overall, it's suitably sporty and should please most drivers. Personally, I've never really been that crazy about front-wheel drive vehicles when it comes to performance and sporty driving. which is why I'd prefer the regular 2 Series Coupe, which was built as a rear-wheel drive from the get-go. Of course, performance and drive impressions aren't everything, so let's pull over and let's talk about the interior. Just looking at the interior, I think BMW did a really good job masking the Mini Cooper origins. The dashboard has a really unique shape, and I also really like these 3 stitched lines here in the BMW M Division colors. Sitting atop the dash is a 10.7-inch infotainment touchscreen, which is standard on all models, as is this digital instrument panel. Navigation is also standard on all models, as is wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as a wireless phone charger and a Harman Kardon audio system. Also included is BMW's optional Driving Assistant Professional package. Now that adds adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, traffic jam assist, lane change assist, and evasive steering. Overall, they work pretty well, but I'm not thrilled with how some of the options are controlled. And that goes more to the infotainment system in general. In order to do something as simple as, let's say, adjust the following distance in adaptive cruise control, and that's usually just a little button here on the steering wheel where you adjust the following distance, but if you want to do it here, you kind of have to dig. You have to go into settings and navigate and just kind of poke around until you find the right setting. And that's true for a lot of other minor systems too. And personally, I like adjusting the following distance myself, although there is an automatic setting where it just keeps track of your speed and conditions and adjusts accordingly, but I'd rather have that under my control. And in this instance, it's not easy to control. There are voice controls, but they don't cover some of the more in-depth features. You can, however, adjust temperature and do all your navigation and audio stuff. When it comes to materials quality, well, it's okay, but maybe not what I'd expect from BMW. But for a $41,000 BMW, sure. You have some plasticky but soft materials in the door here. Your elbow points are nicely padded, and you do have some plastics here, but they're a higher grade plastic that's a little less flimsy and a little nicer to look at. I do like these metal accents here in the center console, and I also really like this new shifter that they put in. It's really intuitive. You just flip it forward to go in reverse and pull it back or go forward. Storage is pretty good for such a small little sedan too. You have a little tray here, but you also have this nice rubberized wireless charging pad, small-ish cup holders, and a medium-sized center armrest bin. Door pockets are decent. You can hold some of the medium-sized flasks without a problem. This particular M235 has the optional M Sport seats, and I really do like these. There's just enough side bolstering on your thigh and on your sides, so it holds you in when you're cornering. But you don't have to be too careful when you're getting in and out, catching a hip or something. And it doesn't have that ridiculous center bump that some of the other M cars have. That M package also includes this really nice steering wheel, which is kind of thick and grippy and really well formed. It just has that sporty feel to it. And you also have these paddles that are mounted to the wheel. On this downshift side, it says boost, and that's for launch control. So you just hold it down, wait for confirmation, and then off you go. This also comes with a head-up display that puts critical information right in your sight line, so you don't even have to glance down a few inches to look at the gauges. Here in the back seat, you have about as much room as you'd expect from a compact sedan. Now, I'm 5'10", sitting behind the driver's seat, which is already set for me, and I'm pretty much at the limit here. My head is definitely bumping into the headliner, but I do have a decent amount of legroom, and my feet have just barely enough room to slide into the front seat. Now, I don't have that much thigh support, but it's not so bad here if I wasn't going on a long road trip. Materials quality is actually comparable to the front. Nice padded materials, and here on the side, nice padded center armrest with 2 small cup holders. Now here in the center we have 2 additional air vents and 2 USB charge ports. Now even though I don't have a wealth of space back here, the sense of space is pretty decent. Now, that's helped by the amount of glass we have, as well as this big panoramic sunroof above me. Considering this is a compact sedan, it has a lot of cargo space. Add to that, there's also a lot of space under the floor, and you also have a handy hook here for your groceries. If that's not enough, well, you also have remote seat back releases, but you will have to push those seat backs forward. They don't just spring forward on their own. Prices for the 2 Series Gran Coupe start right around 43 grand for the base 228 with xDrive all-wheel drive. However, for 2026, they're also going to get a lower priced front-wheel drive model that starts right around $41,000. Now this M235 xDrive with standard all-wheel drive starts right around $51,000. Not only are these Gran Coupes affordable, but they're also efficient. The base 228 is rated at 30 mpg in combined city and highway driving. This M235, it drops only slightly to 27 mpg in combined driving. That puts this Gran Coupe in the same league as the Audi A3 or S3 and the Mercedes CLA. And there's also the Acura Integra, which is sort of entry-level luxury. And in my opinion, it shares just a little bit too much in common with the Honda Civic. I personally prefer the 2 Series Coupe, which is only a few grand more. But what would you do? Would you upgrade to the better 2 Series Coupe? Or go with the Audi, Benz, or the Acura? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to get all of our latest content.